Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger, and I'm back with another wrong build video. This time, the 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X. Let's go! Real quick before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you for watching. You could be watching literally anything else on YouTube, and I don't think us YouTubers say thank you enough to our audiences. So once again, thank you so much. And because I want to show my appreciation, I always keep my DMs open. That's Instagram, Twitter, or Discord. If you have any questions about videos, you can send me a DM and I will read and answer it. And on top of that, if you want to reach out to me live, I stream every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, right here on YouTube. All right, let's get into it. For this Evo X or Evo 10, we had to find the fastest engine, and I like to give that information to you first because it's really the most important part of this entire video. So the fastest engine for the Lancer Evolution X, or Evolution 10 I should say, is the 577 horsepower 4.0 liter V8. On Arian, I was able to run a 313.1, which actually makes this car the second worst track car on my Arian list. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. The only car slower is the Challenger SRT8, and it's actually pretty sad. I really wanted this car to be a lot faster, as it is pretty fast in real life, and it just really did not live up to its expectation. I also ran a 253.8 on Sonic, which is also just god-awful. I mean, it's just so slow. I can't say anything about this car in terms of track racing. It really is just, it's just got all kinds of problems. I tested every single combination of parts I could, and it still handles like garbage. Even with this build I'm about to give you, it still doesn't feel great. The main issue is that it has way too much traction. That would be a good thing in any other race game, but for Need for Speed Heat, that's a bad thing. On top of that, its turning radius, basically how sharp it can turn, is not tight enough. And lastly, at top speeds, it's almost impossible to kick the rear end of the car out to drift a corner. It requires a handbrake to do so, and then when you handbrake, it tends to over-rotate, which causes you to lose even more speed. This car is basically a nightmare to drive. That being said, throw up the build card and let's see the build. It's the 577 horsepower 4.0 liter V8, like I said, Ultimate Plus parts and Ultimate Dual Turbo as always, and the 5x3 pound NOS. We've got the Super Rally suspension, Elite brakes, Super on-road tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Pro Showcase differential. NOS refills and duration as always, steering sensitivity +5, downforce +3. And this is actually interesting. I did complain about not being able to kick the rear end out, and I've got downforce at +3. The downforce at +3 actually helps with the steering sensitivity. It provides more force on the front end and helps you kick the car out easier. If you lower the downforce, the car becomes way more slidey, and then you really don't make turns at all. You just kind of slide and drift into the barriers or off the road. So downforce at +3. Traction control off, and drift style on brake. Moving on to the drag build. It's not going to win any awards here either. I was able to get the quarter mile down to 8.90, which is near the bottom when compared to the other cars that I've tested. Its 0 to 60 is 1.73, which is actually not that bad, but it struggles with top speed. It's fairly quick off the line, and then it just dies when it hits 6th gear. It's not a car I recommend you challenge your friends with in drag racing, but here is the drag build. Same 577 horsepower 4.0 V8 engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts, and the dual turbo. You've got the 1x15 pound NOS, Super track suspension, Elite brakes, Elite drag tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential. Of course, NOS refills and duration, and then steering sensitivity +5, downforce -5, traction control off, drift style on brake. And before we move on, I've been pretty hard on this car thus far in the video, so I'd like to shine a light on a category where this car does amazingly well, and that's customization. This is one of the best cars to customize in the entire game. If you love body kits, canards, and perfect wheel fitment, this car is for you. It really dominates the customization game and makes me want to go out in real life and buy one just so I can build it. All right, back to the builds. Moving on to the drift build. This is by far the most fun I had testing this car. Its build is the same as the Evo 9. and it feels even better when you drift it than the Evo 9. So that calls for a drift montage. All right, I guess I'm stuck. Throw up the build card. 577 horsepower, 4.0 liter V8, Ultimate Plus engine parts, and the Ultimate Dual Turbo, 5x3 pound NOS. Then we got the Super Showcase suspension, Elite brakes, Elite drift tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, Sport drift differential. And then NOS refills and duration, steering sensitivity +5, downforce -5, traction control off, drift style on gas. And lastly, let's take a look at off-road. As always, I test the car's off-road ability by running it through HTV2 and Rumble, and then adding those times together before putting it on my leaderboard. And this Evo 10 was really average. It ran a 154.8 on HTV2 and a 318.6 on Rumble. Its biggest issue is that it's slow. That's not very good for a racing game. Honestly, it handles pretty good in the dirt. It feels good to race with, but it's just plain slow. It's got slow acceleration and it's slow in the top end. Again, I can't recommend it for off-road racing, but it does feel nice to race if you're just racing against AI. So here's the build. 577 horsepower, 4.0 liter V8, Ultimate Plus parts, Ultimate Dual Turbo, 5x3 pound NOS, Super Rally suspension, Elite brakes, Elite off-road tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Rally differential. NOS refills and duration as always, steering sensitivity 5 and downforce -5, traction control off, drift style on gas. And with that, I will end this video. I really appreciate everyone's support though on this series. You guys have been amazing. Every video that I put out for Wrong Builds get really good views, so thank you so much for watching, and shout out to all the subs. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.